Yeah. What's good? This be the G Shah Cypha. This is you are tuned in right now to Underground Movers Podcast, where we interview anybody that's out there doing their thing on a daily basis. I told you we was coming up. Got something definitely special for you. Shout out to everybody that's been supporting. You already know what it is. Underground Movers. Let's get it. Yeah. What's good?
What
Listen,
up?
listen, you know I got somebody special on here. We've been doing a lot of things together. This is my business partner. Y'all already know what it is, but I'm gonna introduce it the right way because it's that serious. Listen, for a very long time, this lady uh has been grinding, putting in work on a daily basis for many years. You know what I'm saying? Um, and I need y'all to understand that she's got a story to tell, a lot of things to talk about, brands that she's helped build, not just for herself, but for other people. So we're gonna
Right.
talk about all that. So Tampa Mystic is on the screen with us, live underground movers. What's good, family?
You dig? What's happening? It's your girl Tampa Mystic checking in, right here on the Underground Movers podcast with my business partner, Shah Cypha of the Grynd Report. I'm the CEO of Industry's Most Wanted podcast. Y'all know that now. That's the new
Yeah. I should know that by now. Stop playing.
Stop playing.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here though. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. Cause like I'm always on the flip side of this. I'm always the one doing the interviews. It's rare that I actually get interviewed. And like you said, I got a story to tell. I got a lot to talk about.
Right. And shout out to everybody that's been, supporting. And we're gonna take it back because it's very important for people to understand where you came from. They see you now, they see the grind you putting in, they know you as
Facts.
the OG, but they don't understand where it came from. You know
No,
what I
for
mean?
real.
So let's talk about when it all started. I know the story, but we got to give it to them
Right.
because they need to understand what's going on. Where did it all start for Tampa Mystic in the music business?
So, I'm gonna take y'all way back. I don't even know that I'm over here sending out invites right now, so don't think I'm ignoring y'all.
Nah, it's all good. All good.
What I'm gonna take it all the way back. So give me just a second here to get this popping.
Yeah, I'm hitting people up too. More people because the people they jumping in right now, tuning in. We all over the place. We in Facebook, we YouTubing, we on Twitter. You know what I mean? So as they come in, we gonna go ahead and put a comment up there. Let me know that y'all here so I can put that up there. Stop playing. You know
Nah,
what I
for
mean?
real. Facts. So I'll take it all the way back because like Shaw Cypher said, man, I'm like an OG in this. I've been doing this a long time and I'm old enough to be a lot of y'all mama, you dig?
Yeah.
But going back to like early social media days, right? We had to come up with social media handles, right?
Right.
So
Right.
way back in the day, I was a heavy user on AOL chat rooms. That was like really my first experience with like social media, I guess, was AOL chat rooms. Some of y'all probably don't even know what I'm talking about because you're too young for that.
Oh yeah. I definitely know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so we had a room that me and a few others were like that was our room. It was WF for BM, white female for black male. And it wasn't like a dating type situation. It was just like, all the white girls that dated black men and of course me being one of them. My social media handle back then was Tampa Mystic. Where that really came from is, I'm from Tampa, as you guys know. But when I used to go out to the clubs when I was younger, my government name is Misty, but women never want to tell their real name, their real age,
Right.
none of that stuff. So I used to tell people my name was Mystic just because it was close to Misty. So that's where the Tampa Mystic came from. It don't have any real deep significance behind it, but it just has stuck with me over the years. So fast forwarding, I've always been a lover of music. My dad, he reminds me of, when I was little that, anytime as a baby, when I would cry, he would put his headphones and he's got pictures of me with these big old headphones on that the music would always like calm me down and stuff. So, it's been in my soul since I was a baby, but,
Yeah.
How I really got started in the music business is my background is outside sales and marketing. I did that for 12 years with a company and I learned a lot from it. But I always knew that eventually I wanted to venture off and do my own thing. I was a single mom, so I was like, I got to wait till my son is, doing his thing. So, once he started, getting towards the end of high school, getting prepped to go to the military is when I started really thinking about, going heavy with this business. I had a friend of mine in Tampa. He goes by the name of DJ Short E because he was short E. His name was Eric, DJ Short E. Shout out DJ Short E. I ain't talked to him in
Yeah.
years, but
Salute.
he was the first one that really gave me an opportunity because he used to DJ at this club in Tampa called Whiskey Joe's. And earlier in the night, they have like a live reggae band.
Yeah.
And once they went off, he would start DJing, and he asked me if I wanted to come in and start hosting, and I was like, I had never done that before. But the crazy thing was, me and my friend Stephanie, we'd already started talking about trying to do some sort of like promotions and stuff, because there was this little spot that we used to go to and hang out, and they had a live they had a DJ in there. It was like a restaurant bar, and we're like, but they weren't getting much business. So Stephanie and I were talking about maybe we should see if we could start doing promotion for places like this. So right around the same time, DJ Short E offered me to come in and host on his nights. And I was like, cool, I can do that. And I fell in love with it. Like, our first event we did was right around Halloween time. And I invited a couple artists out that I knew to perform. And because I used to go to the open mics and stuff like that. And man, I'll tell you, like, after that first night, I knew that that was something I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I was like, this is what I love. Also, too, around that time, and I don't even know how I ran across Team Black Radio. Do you remember Team Black Radio?
I remember Team. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So Team Black Radio was that's actually how I know Magasia. Shout out to my girl Magasia. I met her back then too. Team Black Radio was on Blog Talk Radio.
Right.
And I think I may have knew one of the DJs who hosted on there or something. I honestly can't even remember, but I used to tune in all the time, and they had a little chat room and stuff. Well, the owner of Team Black Radio had offered me my own little show, and I was like, shoot, okay, cool. So Shah Cypha knows that's where it all started for me. Right. However, that same DJ Short E, was working with Desert Storm Radio. Shout out to Clue, shout out to C, shout out to Culture. Yeah. They invited me to come over there, and I ended up spending almost 3 years every Sunday night doing a mix show. And I went out and bought all my equipment. I bought a DJ mixer and taught myself, and really just self-taught myself how to start doing mix shows and things of that nature. And I still have a great relationship with them. But when I moved to Atlanta, I met Rich Black. Shout out to Rich Black. He's the owner of Highly Unique Radio. I met him because I had took an artist by the name of King Miz. You remember Miz, right?
Miz, yeah.
So I had took King Miz over there for an interview, and Rich Black said he seen that I was coming through the studio that day. So he pulled up there, and he's like, hey, when you get done with the interview, come over here to my office. I want to holler at you. And he offered me, to have my own show on Highly Unique Radio. And I ended up spending 6 years at Highly Unique Radio. But we'll talk more about where we're at right now, but also too, the industry's most wanted brand. In fact, Shah Cypha is the one that helped me come up with the name. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, we came up with that, and I put out about 35 mixtapes under Industry's Most Wanted. In fact, March of this year will be 10 years since I dropped the first. Can you believe it?
Right.
We dropped the first Industry's Most Wanted mixtape 10 years ago. I went back on DatPiff and looked because I couldn't really remember. So it's still up there on DatPiff. And so I was like, yo, it's been a blessing. So I've been in this business about 11 years. And of course, early on, he's Kingpin to me. A lot of you guys know him as Rap Juggernaut. You know what I'm saying? That's my brother right there. Him and Bigger Rankin early on just wrapped their arms around me. I really made their acquaintance at a Hood magazine event. Me and one of my homegirls was there. And Kingpin was like, man, I be seeing, this is when Twitter was real heavy. He's like, I see you on Twitter, team go hard, and you always going hard. It's pre-Instagram days, right? And he's like, man, you need to come rock with us. We got a team, we're working. And Bigger Rankin called me one day. I guess Kingpin gave him my number, and he called me and said, we want you to be a part of the team. And I'll tell you, like, man, it's been nonstop. There's so much more that I could tell you guys, but I keep you here all night.
No, but you know what? That's dope, because it really explains the origin behind, the something that you are passionate about doing today. Like
Facts.
where did that actually come from? So, it's amazing how it stemmed from, the AOL piece to
Right.
establishing the mystic and to incorporating where you're from. Me, I talk about Brooklyn all the time. So
Yeah.
when people associate Shaw Cypher, they say, okay, that's Brooklyn. So when it's people associate, Tampa Mystic, whether you in Atlanta, North Carolina, where you at, they know where you from. So you representing. And then you transition, you started to you went from the hosting portion of it, which fast forward, and we're gonna get into that, you still doing it, right?
Right.
And I'm talking about events, not necessarily your podcast, but events.
Correct.
And you've been doing it so long that I gotta give you your roses for that. You know what I mean? You got to do it. You know what I mean? So but like talk about the so you ran into Kingpin, Bigger Ranking calls you starting to get into the team Bigger Ranking DJ called the whole
Cool
Cool
Running
DJ
DJs.
coalition. Like talk about, because I know you might have got some potential opportunities for other DJ coalitions, but why was this the one that, okay, this is the one I want to be a part of?
You know, uh, from early on when they didn't even really know me, they just like embraced me, like wrapped their arms around me and showed me the way. Like any of you guys that know Kingpin, again, I know him as Kingpin because I've known him for so long. You guys know him as Rap Juggernaut because early on his social media was Street Kingpin. Then his account got hacked or something, and he went to Rap Juggernaut. So,
Right.
um, man, he really like showed me so much about this music business, the ins and outs, of the do's and the don'ts. And I was like, that was a blessing because they didn't even really know me that well, and they just like really took me under their wing. And early on too, I came to Georgia. I was still in Tampa. I came up to Atlanta to come to a Fleet DJ music conference, and Kingpin and his whole crew came with me to make sure I was good. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, wow, like it felt like they was really like my brothers. It was like home for me. So,
Right.
and I have respect for all the other coalition or the coalition DJs and the Fleet DJs and everybody out there. But Cool Run is my home for sure.
Right. Okay, so now you in Tampa, you going back and forth to Atlanta, and Atlanta's not new for you. You've been traveling to Atlanta for years,
Since the
vacation,
90s.
you know what I mean, and but eventually you say, you know what, I'm gonna make Atlanta my home,
Yes.
I'm gonna go there, and I'm gonna do my thing and put my foot in the door and really turn up. So what was the decision that said, okay, well, Atlanta is a place I need to be, where I need to move? Like how do you come to that decision? And then what time frame did you move there?
Well, to keep it all the way G, I used to come to Atlanta back in the 90s for Freaknik, right?
Right.
I
Yeah.
was one of the people who got to really experience the real deal Freaknik. I was here like 95 and 96. I was here the last couple years that it was going on because I had my son in 94. Prior to that, I was like 16, 17, so I wasn't really old enough to come. But I came up here, and I remember we went to go visit one of our friends' house, me and my homegirl, and he had a beautiful brick home. And I was like, we don't really have brick homes in Florida. So back then, I said to myself, man, I'm gonna live there one day. Like I just loved the culture. I loved everything about it. Of course, Freaknik was like a whole vibe, you know what I'm saying? But fast forwarding why I decided to move here in 2013, October of 2013 to be exact, was Bigger was the one that told me, he's like, Tampa, you need to move up here. He's like, you're doing well in your city, but if you really want to elevate, you're going to have to come up here to Atlanta. Because at that time, Kingpin had already moved up here because Kingpin used to live in Tampa. Bigger, we used to live in Jacksonville. He moved up to Atlanta. So like Slick, all the people that were close to me in this music business all had came to Atlanta, and they're like, you need to come up here. And I was cool with that because at the time I still had a 9 to 5.
Mhm.
And the company I was working for had a location up here in Lawrenceville, which is like just north of Atlanta. So I was able to, transfer my job. It made sense. I was like, so as soon as my son graduated high school, he left 30 days after graduation to go to the military, which was probably in like July. I moved here in October. I ain't waste no time.
Yeah, I see that. You jumped right on it. And you know what? Sometimes, when that opportunity presents itself, you want to jump on it, right? Uh,
Right.
and definitely take advantage of it. And since being in Atlanta, like you said, you introduced us to the highly unique radio a little
Yep.
bit earlier. Um, you've built industry's most wanted, not only into a brand for interviewing and podcasts, but you also had just showcases for
Correct.
industry's most wanted. So
That's
talk
where it started in Atlanta for real.
right. So talk about the showcase portion of it. And people don't understand when you was doing these things, it was packing out. Like
Man,
so talk
listen.
talk about that experience.
Most definitely. So when I first moved up here, like I probably spent my first couple months just really observing. Like I was attending other events, taking an opportunity to meet people, just kind of seeing how everything moved because I had been traveling back and forth up here, but I had never spent more than like maybe, a week up here, right? So I was like, now I'm living here. I know a few people, but I didn't know a lot. Like, of course, I
Right,
knew, my team bigger ranking people. And shout out P Brown. I knew P Brown. I had met her and Blizzum with K100 Radio. I had already known him, but outside of that, I didn't really know anybody. So I was attending a lot of other events. Shout out to Schweinbeck. She was doing a lot of events at the time. So I was pulling up to her events. Also, Grand Hustle had Hustle and Flow every month, a big showcase that they did. And so I was attending that every month, just kind of feeling the scene out. So
right.
I would say probably within 6 months of moving here is when I kicked off my showcase. And I did it every week. I did it every week up until maybe like a year and a half or so before the pandemic hit. Like and then there was a point where I was doing it twice a week because the demand was there. Like,
Yeah.
um, there's other people out here doing showcases, but fortunately mine were very well attended. You guys, if you've ever watched my Instagram and stuff like that, I've had people like, of course, Andre 3000 has come through. Drummer Boy used to come through, Hot Boy Turk, Rich Homie Quan, K Camp, the list goes on. Like I've just, my events have been very well attended. And I think a lot of it comes with the fact that, I'm very structured. I had a great team of people who was helping me at the time. And, I was able to put together a quality event. I never overbooked. I never kept people there till 3 a.m. waiting to hit the stage. I made sure everybody got on. But I slowly kind of started getting away from it because I wanted to start doing other things, and of course,
Right.
in the midst of all that, I lost my job. You know what I'm saying? Like they basically broomed me out of there because they found out I was doing all this other stuff in the music business, and they, in their mind, were like, "Well, you don't need us no more." So I went from making like 100 grand a year to not knowing where my next dollar was coming from, right?
Right. Right.
So I understand what it's like to go from making a lot of money to really not knowing where your next little money's going to come in. And it was a struggle. But fortunately, I had the showcases going on. I was, at that time I was doing some interviews, highly unique radio had really popped off for me, and that kept me sustained. But I got to where I was kind of getting burnt out with the showcase scene because I was doing it twice a week, and I was doing an R&B showcase once a month. So it was just a lot being in the clubs, 2 nights a week, and um
Right.
handling all these artists, and I was handling the registration for everybody, and it became a lot. So I backed away from it. Then right before the pandemic hit, I would say maybe the summer before pandemic hit, Bigger Rankin, who used to come and host with me a lot, was like, "Hey, let's start doing some showcases again." I said, "Okay, we'll do it once a month. I'm not doing the every week thing." So
Yeah.
we kicked back off with Industry's Most Wanted Showcase once a month. And then 2020, the last one we did was in February because March got canceled because they literally shut all of Atlanta down, right? So
Right.
the rest of 2020 and all of 2021, I didn't do any showcases up until December of 2021. We did a holiday showcase, and it was great, great turnout, great performances. Shout out to Joe Gifted. He came out as our special guest performance, and he, really lit the night up. And as I mentioned earlier on, 10-year anniversary is coming up in March. So March 24th at 8 p.m., Crazy Atlanta. Industry's Most Wanted, 10-year anniversary. So I hope to see y'all there.
Definitely, definitely. But you know what I want people to know too is that Industry Most Wanted is not the only brand
Right.
you help develop. You have your own brand as well called Mystics Entertainment. You know what I
Facts.
mean? Which is completely different from Industry's Most Wanted. I look at it as kind of like the house of everything else you got going on. Yeah, you see that Mr. Mystics Entertainment right there. Mystics Entertainment. Talk about Mystics Entertainment, then we'll get into the other stuff you got going on and all that. So talk about Mystics Entertainment. Obviously, that's integrated of your name, Mystic,
Correct.
but the development of that and what you do with that with Mystics Entertainment.
So Mystics Entertainment, I officially developed in 2012, same year Industry's Most Wanted came about, and I started it in Florida. So I was actually doing it as a DBA at that time. I didn't really know a lot about doing LLCs and stuff, but it was registered with the state of Florida. I basically did a DBA under my name, right? So um I was, that's where we started doing the blogging services. We're doing promo services, social media promo, and it's developed into, a whole lot more now, because now I'm partnered, of course, me and Shah Cypha, the Grynd Report Media Group LLC,
Right,
Mystics Entertainment LLC, Industry's Most Wanted LLC, the Hype Media Group LLC. I mean, it's just, the list goes on, so but Mystics Entertainment is basically kind of like the umbrella. Like, that's the parent company, and then everything else that falls up under that. So Mystics Entertainment, I do a lot of work with artists. I've managed artists and producers along the way under the Mystics Entertainment brand. So that's just kind of like the parent company for everything that I do.
right,
And just a few things, just the name. And Shah Cypher and I do a lot of the same things. We do, of course, press releases, blogging. We've got the Grynd Report magazine. We do DJ single servicing. We both do interviews. Like, the list goes on. Like, I can't even remember everything right now, but we do a lot.
right. And I want people to understand. You can go to Tampa, hit up with through the Mystics Entertainment brand or the Ground Report.
Yes.
And I'll tell you a little story about the Ground Report. Starting that was hard because at first we was just a bunch of artists trying to figure out what to do and how to really help other people. And then meeting Tampa, who's like, you know what, we need somebody that really has that marketing know-how that really can bring another perspective. And then down the line, it became just me and you,
Right.
right? So
Absolutely. Yeah.
as the owners, co-CEOs of the Ground Report, and like Tampa said, we do a lot of the same things. Um, one thing I would say, and thank you for choosing the Ground Report for to be partnered with, because
Of
I'm pretty
course.
sure that you could have had other opportunities. People probably reached out, hey, I want you to be a part of this team, that team, you know. So talk about how important it is was it for you to partner with me on the Ground Report, and why you felt like that was the direction you wanted to go.
I think that, just since early on, we met each other through social media.
Right,
And the fact that you and I were able to develop such a dynamic business relationship without having ever met each other,
right,
that was so solid to me, right? Because there's people that you know in person and that you know your entire life and don't have that type of, like, chemistry with them in that business relationship. And we can talk to each other about, like, business and personal stuff.
right,
And
right,
we never had met. It was like years later at the Diamond Awards, right? That we met for the
right.
first time in person.
I think it took about 6 years, I wanna say.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I was living in Delaware at the time, so I was
Right.
nowhere near Atlanta or Florida. So now I'm in Florida, I'm in Jacksonville. I get a chance to, the drive is less. You so then we finally met at the Diamond Awards, which was dope.
Yes.
Um, but we started that brand in 2010. We took it further than that, started in I believe it was 2013, and we was a mixtape in a magazine when we first started, right? Like we was
Right.
mixtapes and magazines and that, and we transitioned into an all-out media service brand. So whether you go through, come through Tampa Mystic or myself through the Ground Port or through Mystics Entertainment, we make sure we get the job done. You know what I mean?
Please
Make
believe it.
sure that we take care of you. Um, talk about, are you still doing a magic room?
You
Like I
know, as a matter of fact, I haven't done it in a while, but let me just show y'all right here. It's not lit up, but there's my magic room sign right
Yes,
there.
yeah,
Um, I only took a step back from that because I really wanted to hone in on industry's most wanted. I was like, man, because last year I was like, I've had industry's most wanted for 9 years and I just don't feel like it's where it needs to be. So
right,
before I start really diving into another podcast and trying to build that up, let me get this one where it needs to be. Once
right,
it is, and honestly, I'll tell you guys this here first. I haven't mentioned this outside of my immediate circle at all. Like one thing that I am looking to do is expanding industries most wanted in the fact of bringing maybe one or two other hosts on. So I won't necessarily be the only face of industries most wanted because I want to expand it, you
right,
know?
right,
So, I've already got one person, I'm not gonna mention who it is, that's I've been in the talks with about them having their own podcast under the industry's most wanted brand. So that's something that I'm looking to do. Once I can get that where it needs to be, then the magic room is, I know you probably can't see it, but I got the banner back over there. That's definitely a brand that I want to build as well because
right,
that's gonna cater more to entrepreneurs and business owners where industry's most wanted is I would say 95% artists, not by choice. That's just who happens to book with me the most.
right, right. One thing that you got into, especially, you introduced me to as well as radio, right?
Yes.
The Hype 87.3
Right.
is a radio station that you've built. And we got artists on that, Power 107.6, The Truth.
Man.
Talk about, when you decided to build the Hype 87.3, like what was the thought process behind it, and what's your goal when it comes to that brand? I see
Yeah.
you, and you playing my song.
Look at
See?
that.
Uh,
Look at
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, look at that. That's so funny. Um, I decided to start that station because honestly, I was motivated by other people that I seen that had internet
right,
stations, such as Highly Unique Radio that I had been with for 6 years. And I seen how lucrative it is, right? Because working with independent artists, I understood that as an independent artist, you cannot go straight to FM radio. It doesn't work like that for
right,
a couple of reasons. One, you got to have a major budget. Like I'm talking, you got to have thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of dollars to have a real radio campaign. So let me just say this real quickly for, artists like Drake's and Lil Wayne's and Gucci's, please don't think that they just get free. They're still investing money in the radio campaigns.
right,
There's still a marketing budget for them. So one, as an independent artist, you can't just go call up to the radio station and say, hey, play my song. It's not going to work like that. You got to really have a buzz out here before they're going to even think about playing your song.
right,
Um, and two, for one, you ain't got the budget because ain't no most independent artists don't have $20,000-$30,000 laying around for just radio. And
right,
two, they won't play you if nobody knows you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you're an independent artist, you want to get radio play, but your local FM station's not gonna play you. So that's where we decided to do internet radio. We're like, let's provide a place for these independent artists to get their music heard
right,
and do interviews on. And so, along the way, we've both taken our stations to officially reporting with Digital Radio Tracker. Shout out to Michael over there at the Digital Radio Tracker. So we're able to post these reports every week so you guys can see how many spins you got. And these artists love that because it's leverage for them.
right, right,
Um, both
right.
stations are now fully licensed with ASCAP, BMI's on the way.
Yeah,
So the radio stations, were just really developed honestly to help the artists. It was just another service that we could provide to these independent artists and another platform to get their music heard.
that's dope. Listen, I see a lot of, a couple of people that people keep coming in, they jumping in from different platforms. Listen, just put a comment in there. Let me know you here. That way I can put it up so Tampa can see it. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Holla at your
Um,
girl, man.
you know what I mean? Um, but yeah, you got a lot going on. You know, you got
Yeah.
you got industry's most wanted, Mr. CT, the ground report, hype 87.3. What else would you want to get into?
I'll tell you, I'll tell you, uh let me take it back to like 2019. So in 2019, shout out to T Peaches, that's my sis right there. I had told her that, after, kind of winding down with the showcases and I was still doing interview, I wanted to dive into something else. So I told T Peaches, I tell her a lot of stuff, about what I want to move business wise. Same thing I do with you, Shah Cypha.
Right,
And,
right.
I told her film might be an interest for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I've always, like taking photos and I like doing videos. And I'm like, film may be an interest for me. I text this to her, right? So she literally said, "Oh my God, can I call you?" So she called me and said, "We're getting ready to, her," and shout out Pastor John and co-pastor Tari Elmore. I love them. I love you guys. They had Arc Studios that they were, thinking about opening. And she's like, I already talked to them about, you being one of the studio executives because I was the only one there who had radio experience. They all had film and recording and engineering, but nobody had radio experience. So they brought me in. So that was all coming to fruition, and I'm like a believer in, if you want something you got to throw it out there in the atmosphere, and
That's
if
right.
it's right for you, God's going to make it happen. When God tells you to move, you got to move.
Right, right, right.
And so now I'm just like, I knew it was the right move because we just had a meeting today. The meeting that should have been an hour ended up being like 4.5 hours because when we all get together, it's just love. And we all took a field trip to the pet store and bought new fish for our fish tank.
Okay, yeah, I saw that. I saw that. Yeah.
It was so dope. But yeah, so like film is definitely an interest for me. I have since went out and bought my own camera, so now I can video all my interviews because
Right,
I have a lot of great videographers, but they're busy and I get that. You know what I'm saying? They're shooting
right,
videos and they're editing, so it's like to get any video person to be there with me all the time, it's impossible. It's just not possible. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna do this myself. So I went and bought my own camera. In fact, which what I'm on right now, my Sony camera,
yeah.
and I started recording all my own interviews. I taught myself how to edit. I'm not major with the edit, but I can do a little transitions, intros, outros, and all that stuff. And so that's something that I wouldn't mind taking a little bit further. At some point, I shot a couple of videos for Dave, and they turned out pretty dope, I think.
Yeah,
So,
definitely
you
showing out dope. You know what I mean? Turn
yeah,
dope. And then these cameras, and even these phones are getting to a point where you can do videos and stuff. You do a
crazy.
4K on phones and 4K on cameras, things like that. So what we you got the film going, you got the brands going. Um, anything else that you want to tell the people that's going on with Tampa that you want them to look forward to that you got coming up, or anything else out there that you want to say?
Yeah, something else that shout out to I landed an opportunity. And again, I told you I'm really big on if you want something, you got to throw it out there because a closed mouth does not get fed, right?
Right,
You have to claim opportunities, you have to go find opportunities, and you have to create opportunities. I don't remember the last time an opportunity came and knocked on my front door, right?
right,
That
right.
just don't happen. So we have to create them. So last year, 2021, I put my shot out there to 99.1 FM, which is one of the FM stations here in Atlanta, right? And shout out to everybody checking in. I see you guys. um, I sent an email right to 99.1 FM, and I basically kind of sent them like my bio and my resume and of what I've done in the radio world. And they called me like within 48 hours after I sent it to them and said, "Hey, can we set up a meeting?" And they offered me my own show like on the spot. And I initially just wanted to do 1 day a week, but they said, "We went and checked out your work. We checked out some of your interviews on YouTube. We really like what you're doing. We don't have any other shows like what you're doing. We
Right.
would love to have you every Saturday and Sunday from 8 to 10." And so the deal was sealed with that, so you guys can catch me on 99.1 FM every Saturday and Sunday, 8 to 10 out here in Atlanta. But with that being said, the company that owns 99.1 FM is the Hype, what is it? Hype Media Global. So they not only do they own the radio station, but they also own a film production company. So
Right.
there's a new film that just came out. Forgive me, I don't remember what it's called at this second, but um they had me do voiceovers for it.
Oh, that's
With
dope.
with Industry's
Yeah.
Most Wanted podcast. So I got to have my brand, Industry's Most Wanted podcast. So basically what it is, there's a scene in the movie where the lady's driving in the car and she's tuned in and listening to my podcast. And I
Oh,
had
that's
to,
dope.
yeah. So they sent me a script and they let me kind of make it my own. I didn't have to follow the script verbatim. I got to make it my own. So I
Right.
got two parts in the film, speaking only, but it's cool because it's, my podcast, my brand. They allowed me to use my radio drops and everything. So
Yeah.
I was like that. And they put me in the credits when the credits roll on the movie. So I was like, okay, so God's talking to me here. Little things are happening.
Cool things happening. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. So, I wouldn't mind, having more opportunities like that. Another thing I got coming up, I recently did the official media coverage for the BMF event. I know all you guys are familiar with BMF. They had an event here in Atlanta, and I got booked to do the media coverage, which was amazing because I set up with my banners and my mic and had Shot for Shot was there with the camera, and I don't even know how many interviews I did that night. I just knew it was a lot. Like as soon
Yeah.
as one got up, another one was sitting down. But they invited me back. They got another event coming up at the end of this month, which is hosted by Lil Meech, Big Meech's son. And I'll be providing the media coverage for that as well under Industry's Most Wanted, streaming live on the Hype 87.3. So, definitely excited about that.
That's what it is. That's what
Yeah, like
you
there's
know.
big things popping.
You gotta say congratulations on all the work, the hard work, all the blessings that you're getting, moving forward, and what there's a lot more coming. You know what I mean? So
Facts.
definitely, shout out to everybody that's been supporting you, supporting the brands that you got going on. It's very important. Listen, she said 99.1 FM, right? So you know what that means, artists. When you want to send your songs, you need the clean versions. Stop sending them dirty versions and thinking that's going to get played. That's not the case. You need the
No.
clean versions. A lot of
I
y'all out there just do the dirty versions and don't do a clean version. And you got to go back to the studio, book more time. You might as well just get everything done right then and there and get your show version too. Stop playing with that. But yeah, like I
Yeah. No, you're right. While your engineer is in there mixing and mastering your song, go ahead and if you do have profanity inside your song, have them go ahead and knock out the clean version right then and there. So you don't have to go back and do it. You don't ever want to have to get ready. You want to stay ready.
Right. Any other tips that you want to give to anybody, whether it be an artist, whether it be someone trying to develop a brand, anything out there that you was like, you know what, I want to make sure that I wish I did that in the past that you want to let the people know they should be doing now.
One thing that it happens to me a lot, and any of you guys that know me, that I'm so big on like just common courtesy. Like I love building relationships with people, and I think a lot of that it was instilled from my family because I have a very loving family. My family's always been very close, but also, with my previous job of 12 years, like I said, I did outsides and sales and marketing. So I had to really learn how to when I want to do business with somebody, I introduce myself. Hey, how you doing? Whether it be in music, I'm Tampa Mystic, or if it's on the other, I'm introduce my government name you know, making them proper introductions because jumping in my DM and just dumping a link in there, and I posted this on my story the other day.
Yeah.
If I don't know you and you just dump a link in my DM, I consider that as spam. You didn't take the time to say, "Hey, how you doing? My name is Joe Blow and this is my new song. If you get an opportunity, check it out." Like introduce yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, speak to me. I'm a human. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't just throw stuff at me because I consider that as being rude. So, and I know because I had this. If y'all got caught the interview I did with Boom Man on my IG live the other night, he and I talked about that, and he was in total agreement with me. It's like that common courtesy and building those relationships go a long way. And he mentioned that too because he did a video with Gucci like 10 years ago. And guess what? He was able to circle back around 10 years later and get his artist Fujiano signed up under 1017 because he built the relationship the proper way out the
Right.
gate. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of my biggest pieces of advice to my artists, man, is build relationships with people because once you burn a bridge with somebody, I promise you, them and anybody they know ain't ever gonna mess with you again.
That's a fact.
course, this could go into a whole nother show, so I'll make it short and sweet. Get your music business together. Make sure you got your publishing together. When you send us your music, please make sure it's properly labeled. Please
Right.
make if you send me a song and it's not properly labeled, I am not responsible for it not reporting properly or it not displaying properly because you sent it to me wrong. So it takes you 2 seconds from your computer. You right mouse click, artist name dash song title. And then you should even go into the properties and label it there as well. So
Right.
little things like that, man, just makes you look and sound more professional. So get you a good engineer, make sure you guys are getting your song mixed and mastered properly. All that stuff matters. That's probably really about it for now, because otherwise this will turn into a whole nother show.
No, no, but you right though. We get a lot of music and it says, track one master, you know, or track this, clean version. Um, and obviously we need the clean versions,
Nah, for
we need
real.
that. But at the same time, we don't even a lot of times the artist name is not on there. Now we got to figure out, okay, which artist is this for? And the song name, right? Like,
Right.
make sure you send the correct song name. Especially if you plan on changing the name, you're right. Like you change the name, or for whatever reason, I've had that a couple times. Yo, I changed the
Yes.
name, or well, you didn't tell me, so now
Right.
I'm reporting on the old name. So it
Right.
got nothing to do with that. That's so if you label it before you send it, that way when we upload it, it's uploaded correctly, it reports correctly. You understand?
Absolutely. Shout out to Heart of the Pen. I see you checking in. I think you said that you knew, yeah, Los Lauren. Shout out to Los Lauren. That's
Yeah,
my dog, man. Los Lauren, just give him a quick shout out. He came to Atlanta and interviewed with me, and he liked our podcast area so much he came back and shot a music video in our podcast room, and I starred in it, which was really dope. And we've since done a follow-up interview. So yeah, big shout out to Los Lauren.
yeah,
Dope,
definitely.
dope dude.
He's on the issue 73 of the Grynd
He
report.
sure is. He's
He's
on
on
the
the
cover. And listen, it's artists like that, man, and it's not even about the fact that, he spent money in a couple different ways with us. He's just a solid dude.
right,
You know what
right,
I'm saying? Like, he does good business, he's professional, he's nice, you know what I'm saying? All that, I'm telling you, because I say it all the time and I'll never stop saying it. Relationships will put you in places that money cannot.
yeah, exactly.
Period. Like, if you walk up to me and you are an a-hole, and you got a bag of money, you in your a-hole attitude can take a hike, because I don't want nothing to do with it. But if you ain't really got much money, but you got a great attitude, you ready to work, you're polite, I'll be like, okay, cool, let's get to work and we'll figure out ways we can get money together.
Right, right. And that's a fact. So shout out to everybody that's been tuning in. I see people in here. We on YouTube, we on Facebook, we on Twitter. Holla at your boy. Listen, y'all want to get a hold of Tampa Mystic. Tell them, a lot of people know, but there's people who don't. They still need to catch up. You know what I mean?
Right.
So let them know how to get to you.
you know, all my social platforms, I got a social platform for all my brands. Of course, Tampa Mystic, I've got Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, Snapchat, which I don't really use, but tampamystic.com. We got a website for all of our brands as well.
Right, right,
So Tampa Mystic across the board. Same thing with Mystics Entertainment. I made it short. It's Mystics ENT on all social platforms, mysticsent.com. Industries Most Wanted, and that's Industries with an IES. You guys can see it back there. There. I
yeah.
can't.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah. We see it.
reversing
We
you on the
see it.
camera.
Yeah, we see it clear. We see it clear. You good. You good.
industriesmostwanted.com, Industries Most Wanted YouTube channel. Make sure you guys go subscribe to that. Follow on Instagram at Industries Most Wanted, on Facebook. Yeah, just keep up with the movement, man. If you guys are looking to book an interview with me, I'm gonna keep it all the way G. I currently have like 30 plus interviews booked for January. I don't play. I ain't playing no games with y'all. So I am now starting to book into February, because I don't be trying to overdo it, because interview is not the only thing, not the only thing that I do. So
Right.
you guys want to book an interview with me, I do offer various interviews. I do the in-person interviews at Arc Studios. I do the virtual interviews like what Shah, Cypha, and I are doing right now on the Underground Movers podcast. And of course, we do the classic phone interviews. If you guys don't want to show your face, that's cool. We do a phone interview too.
Right, right, right. Dope. Listen, is also if you want to tune in to Industry's Most Wanted or Underground Movers podcast, we just dropped the official Ground Report app. Um,
Yes.
for mobile for matter of fact, like I keep telling people, we bring the brand to your mobile app, right? We bringing it right
Right.
to your phone. So whether you got an iPhone or a Google, or, Android, whatever it is, search the Ground Report media group. Got that right there. And then you'll be able to either listen to Industry's Most Wanted, Underground Movers, tune in a Hype 87.3. You'll be able to tune in to Power 107.6. You can learn about Shah Cypha. You can learn about Tampa Mystic individually, or you can learn about the Ground Report brand. The latest magazine that's out, issue 74, which is the last issue of 2021. So shout out to Mari Base One.
All right,
You know
base
what I
one,
mean?
what's
And then we
happening?
got some surprises on the app too, because people were on there grinding, and we want to make sure we highlight them. So, and again, if you want to get interviews, whether by Tampa Mystic or myself, you can find out how to do that there, and then get in contact with us to make that happen. So we try to make it easy for you to get in contact with us. Just come
Absolutely.
correct when you contact us, and we'll make sure we take care of you. You know?
Right. And just to make it all the way clear, like, if anybody tuned in late, we interview anybody that's on the grind, not just musicians. It doesn't have to be just an artist. It could be a small business owner. It could be someone that owns a barber shop. It could be I interviewed my girl Lorraine who just launched her Butter Brims hat brand. Models, DJs, producers, the list goes on. So you on your grind, like, let us report it, whether it's through, like you said, the magazine or on one of our podcasts, because right now in 2022, one of the biggest things going is podcast. Like, so many people are converting into doing podcasting, especially during the pandemic, and it's not going nowhere. It's only going to get bigger.
Right, right, right. So make sure y'all tune in. Y'all get with us. We'll make sure you taken care of. And we gonna keep grinding. Any shout outs that you want to give to anybody out there, Tampa?
It's
Oh,
so
you got him. Shout out Dave Skills. I know you tuning in, my G. Shout out Dave Skills.
Shout out to my babe, Dave Skills.
Yeah.
Y'all make sure he just dropped his newest single called Grind OD. It released at midnight last night, coming into this morning. So great record. I got the clean and dirty. If you guys, any of the DJs might need the service pack, of course, it's in rotation on the radio stations. And he's a dope engineer too. Level Up Sounds. If you guys need your mixing and mastering done, holla at Dave Skills with a Z on all social media, or it's Level Up Sound _ on social media. Of course, shout out to Shah Cypha, man. Like, I don't think that I could be doing what I'm doing without you, bro. Like, this is like at least a decade running, right? That we've been working together. So I'm grateful. Like, anything that I do or he does, we always consult with each other. Every time we consult with each other on business moves, and we always find a way to agree on everything. So definitely shout out to you. Shout out to my whole Arc Studios family. Shout out to anybody who's ever interviewed with me, supporting the movement. I don't want to leave anybody out. So just of course, my family, anybody that has shown love or that supports the movement, man. Shout out to all you guys. Shout out to Heart of the Pen for checking in, man. Appreciate you for tapping in. That's love right there. So, just shout out to anybody out there on the grind.
All right, we already know what it is. Underground Movers, Industry's Most Wanted, the Ground Report, Mystic CNT. Man, we got so many brands, and just to let y'all know, we got a website for all of them. So whether you come directly to one spot to get to them, or you go to them individually, you always know how to get to them.
I want to plug one more thing in real quick if I
Yeah,
can.
let's do it. Let's do it.
So I recently, let me see if you guys can see this, if I can get it to focus or not. Come on now. It's the Gramco. So this is a pre-roll. So for you guys who may be 420 friendly, look into what's called Delta 8. Delta 8 is a legalized version. There is THC in here, but they sell it legally now because it's a smaller amount. So for people like me who I'm a very a light recreational user. I use it to go to sleep at night. So, anyways, I recently connected with the owners of Gramco because they're from Florida. They got the edibles, they got the pre rolls. You can buy like the little packs like this right here, and you know, it's a booming business, and I'm going to be interviewing them on my show soon. So I just wanted to give them some love and some shine because if you guys aren't familiar, I'm trying to open this pack up so you guys can see it. I wish you could smell it. I wish y'all. Oh, yeah, it focused in.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the real deal. So if you guys aren't familiar with Delta 8, go check it out because they got the gummies and they got, you know, they got the pre-rolls and all that stuff. But I'll be doing an interview with the owner soon, and I'm really excited about it because this is something I've been interested in for a while. So I just want to plug that in. You know, they got the wake and bake coffee. I had to, you know, throw that in there real quick. So gramco.com, make sure you go check them out.
See? Anybody grinding, no matter what it is, we trying to report it and talk about it and do what it is. So come through us. Let's make that happen. Shout out to them. You know what I mean? Make sure we tune into that too.
I
Put
gotta
that
say
out
one more thing. I forgot that
there.
we do video reviews.
Yes. Why we
So
how we forgot that? You know
so
what I mean?
so because we do so much. You
Right,
know what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
If you are an artist who has a new single, a new video, preferably singles and videos is what we like to stick to because albums would take too long. But if
right,
you got a new single or new video, we review it in this platform, this type of format right here. We
right,
can even show your video on this platform that we're using. So
right,
it's always better to have someone else talking about your stuff. You know, it's cool for you to talk about it, but let us talk about it. Let us do the official review. If you go to Industry's Most Wanted Instagram, you'll see a few of the reviews that we've done. So that's something Shah, Cypha, and I do together.
right, right. Definitely. Stop playing.
Stop playing.
Send your music. Let us talk about it. Get review. Show your people. And then we ended up putting it on podcast networks anyway, right? So
Right.
you get a chance to hear it on iHeartRadio, Spotify, all that good stuff too. You know, so we try to take it to another level.
Oh, for real.
Well, listen, I appreciate everybody tuning in. Heart of the Pen. There's some other people that tune in and labeled as Facebook user. Whoever that was, salute to you. I appreciate you for tuning in. I see some other people that was tuning in. Yeah, I didn't put any comments, but it's cool. I know you was there.
No,
I
for real.
appreciate you and the time that you took to spend with us because you didn't have to do that. You could have been doing whatever you was doing before you tuned in to Underground Movers. So you already know what it is. Shah Cypha, Tampa Mystic, so many brands. Holla
Hey,
at your people. You already know what it is. Let's go.
let's go.